As wedding officiants, we walk a fine line. On one hand, we don't want to be impersonal robots who can be swapped out for just anybody. We want to be personal. We want the ceremony to be about our couple, and we want to be personable. We want the ceremony guests to feel connected to us as we guide them through this important moment in our couple's lives. On the other hand, we definitely don't want to turn the spotlight onto ourselves and make it feel like the wedding officiant show. Guests notice when this happens, even when they don't consciously know they do, they feel it. And when they leave a ceremony unimpressed, it's usually for one of two reasons. Either the ceremony felt generic and disconnected, or the officiant made it all about themselves and it was totally cringe. So as wedding officiants, what are we supposed to do? All right, wedding officiant, it's so important to know that there are just a few times when it's actually appropriate for an officiant to say the word I or me or my in a wedding ceremony. In fact, there's just 7 moments in the whole ceremony where you can say I as the officiant, and if you meet certain criteria, maybe up to 10 times. But if you refer to yourself any more often than that, you risk distracting attention away from your couple. And if you refer to yourself fewer times than that, you risk coming across as stiff or impersonal, like the ceremony came out of a can or something. Think of yourself as a mirror. Yes, you're standing front and center. Yes, all eyes are on you, but your job is to reflect all that attention back onto your couple. That's why these moments matter. Used sparingly and intentionally, the word I helps you connect, guide, add weight at the right times, but used too often, it shifts the focus to the wrong place. So with that idea in mind, let's walk through the 7, sometimes 10, moments to use I. And at the end, I want to share with you the ultimate guiding principle for getting this balance just right. Let's go. First, a quick self-introduction. At the very beginning of the ceremony, in your opening remarks, the first thing you need to introduce yourself. Otherwise, people just think you're the parking lot guy making some announcements or something. So keep it short. My name is Mark. I am honored to be your officiant today. That's it. See what I just did there? 2 seconds. You don't need to explain your credentials, give your CV, your relationship to the couple. Unless you're a relative, then it's okay to say, hey, I'm Greg's aunt. That's fine. But why did the couple choose you for this job? Guests don't need the backstory right now. What makes you worthy to stand up there? Nope, don't worry about that. The guests are going to find out when you deliver a meaningful, engaging ceremony. Right now, they just need to know you're the officiant for the next half hour or so. And so the spotlight can swing right back to the couple. Remember this principle. Every word should serve them, not you. Number 2, the second occasion, breaking the tension after the processional. The processional is full of emotion. Couples sees each other for the first time. There's soaring music, parents escorting children down, guests are tearing up. The atmosphere is tight, and once the couple is standing in front of you, it is your job to release that beautiful tension and get everyone kind of smiling and loose again. That's where your next I comes in. Here they are, Alex and Sam. They're perfect for each other. Can I get an amen? Who's with me on that? It's short, lighthearted. It's a question that guarantees a big yes response from the guests. And it pulls everyone back into that buoyant energy you want. The room relaxes, the couple laughs, relaxes. Great photos come out of this moment. Remember, this isn't about you being a comedian. It's about restoring energy so the focus stays joyful and celebratory back on your couple. Third occasion, now it's time for the heart of the ceremony, your speech. And you say, how did these 2 wonderful people get here today? I want to tell you a love story. These words are powerful, and if you don't get to this quickly, guests start to zone out. The second they hear the word story, though, they perk up. People love stories. They lean in. Take it from me. I see this every weekend when I officiate a wedding. You then use your prep work, the love story that you gathered from the questionnaire to the couple, to share how they met, how they fell in love, how they decided to spend the rest of their lives together. The phrase, I want to tell you a story, isn't self-indulgent. It's a cue that what follows is all about your couple. People dial in because you just told them to buckle up for a great narrative, right? And it's largely why guests walk away saying, that was the best ceremony I've ever been to. You told them a story. Number 4, reporting on your homework. So after you tell the love story, it's time to share what the couple loves about each other and what friends and family love about your couple. So that's where you say, I did a little homework. I asked Sam what she loves most about Alex, and here's what she had to say. So yes, that's referring to you when you say, I asked Sam, but now you're also going to read a bunch of I's and me's and my's that are actually about them. When you read what they love about each other, you read it in the first person, the same way that they sent you the answers. So in this case, it would be, Alex is my rock. Alex is my light. I love Alex. Reading in the first person is powerful. It lands harder than paraphrasing. Sam said Alex is her rock, her light. Guests are going to cry more. The couple tears up more. The whole room feels the weight of that moment when you act like you're kind of reading a love letter to each of them from the other that was sent to you. Then you have, of course, people are going to say these things, they're in love, but friends and family have a little bit more of an objective view of these two. That gets a bit of a chuckle. So I asked around and I asked some of you what makes these two so wonderful. See what I did there? Now you're sharing those reflections too. You're saying, you did homework, you asked around, you asked your couple for some email addresses of friends and family who are going to say amazing things about the couple. And once again, this I that you're saying, once you start reading, isn't about you. It's about setting up a moment that shines onto your couple. 5th occasion, number 5, setting up the vows. Vows can be nerve-wracking for couples. As the officiant, you are their guide. That's why this I really matters. You say, I'm going to ask you a question, Sam, and you may reply with, I do. Sam, I'm going to ask you to go first. Simple, directive, clear. It's not about you. You're giving the couple confidence and clarity in the moment of their vows. If they've written their own vows, you still say, Sam and Alex have chosen to write their own vows. Sam, I'm going to ask you to read first. And then you give Sam their sheet or their vow book. It's instructional again. It's those I moments that serve the ceremony. Calm your couple, keep them informed about what they need to do next. Number 6, the pronouncement. This is what guests are waiting for by the authority given me by the state. I pronounce you married or wife and wife, whatever. At this point, you earned it. You've reflected attention. You've told their story. You've honored their love. Now you can say, I pronounce you with all the authority and gravitas that comes with that role. And it lands, of course, with joy. This I isn't spotlighting you. It's about giving the couple the declaration about them everyone's been waiting for with the authority that has been granted you by another body, state, government, jurisdiction where you live. They kiss, everyone cheers, you move into the signing, then the closing remarks, and then it's time for the presentation. That's number 7. The grand finale, you're presenting them to the world for the first time, and so you say, with great joy, it's my honor to present to you for the very first time. This is celebratory. It is the payoff. I present to you for the very first time. You build that anticipation. Now you release the energy in the room. Guests cheer, cameras click, the couple beams. That's the final I, and that's where it belongs. Let's get to the 3 bonus situations. Beyond these 7, those are the 7. I would say those are essential, but there are some extras where I is not only acceptable, it's appropriate and encouraged. Bonus number 1 here, rituals and special elements. If you're leading a unity ritual, like a hand fasting or a sand ceremony, candle lighting, you might need to say, I'm going to lay this cord over your hands. I'm going to bind your hands. I'm going to invite you now to pour the sand. These instructions keep the couple comfortable and the ceremony flowing when there are some stage directions and logistics involved in a unity ritual where someone needs to do something. You actually call it out and instruct them to do so. It makes them more comfortable. Bonus number 2, parents and family officiants. If you're officiating for your own child or a close relative or your besties with one or both of the marriers, guests actually expect to hear your reflection, especially when you're reading a bunch of things that other people love about them. So for example, you would say, as Alex's dad, I couldn't be prouder of who she's become and the person she's chosen to marry today. Keep it short, keep it heartfelt, dignified, but don't skip it. Guests are going to be waiting for it, and if it's absent, It might even raise some eyebrows. Oh, did you notice that Alex's dad didn't say anything? We don't want that. So make sure if you're really close to the couple, you do include your own personal reflection about the couple where you say I. Bonus number 3, finally, a touch of humor, maybe a little self-deprecation, sparingly used. It can be pretty endearing. You know, she told her friend that he's a tall drink of water, but that's a phrase no one ever said about me back in those days when he and I hung out. You know, that's the kind of thing that works because it's at your own expense. It's not the couple's expense. Used once or twice in the ceremony during the story. It can get guests laughing and inject some humor without you stealing the show and aggrandizing yourself. We're not talking inside jokes. Always stay away from those. We're talking about well-timed humor that everyone in the room can chuckle at, humor that elevates the couple, makes them shine, and so those are your bonus 3. Summing up here, the ultimate principle to keep in mind, reflect attention, don't absorb attention, okay? Yes, you're going to say I sometimes. Yes, you're the one speaking front and center, but the spotlight is never yours to keep. It belongs to your couple. So quick recap, the 7 times self-introduction, my name is, breaking the tension after the processional, can I get an amen? Story time, I'm going to tell you a story. Reporting homework, I did a little homework, I asked some people. Setting up the vows, I'm going to ask you a question. The pronouncement, I pronounce you. The presentation, it is my honor to present to you. And then sometimes the unity ritual, where you give instructions, parents and family, friends reflecting what they love about the child or the bestie standing in front of them getting there today. And the touch of tasteful, self-deprecating humor. You know, she noticed his muscles. He and I worked out together every day, but for some reason, I went completely unnoticed. Something like that. Stay within these 10, and you'll always strike the balance of presence without ever overshadowing your couple. So there you have it. The 7, sometimes 10 moments where it's right to say I in the wedding ceremony. It's a wedding officiant. Stick to these. You'll connect with the guests. You'll support the couple. You'll keep the spotlight where it belongs. You're a big mirror. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more officiant tips, drop a comment below. Let me know which of these moments do you use most often, which are your favorites, and if you want more in-depth training or tools, check out Unboring Wedding Academy and our ceremony software that automates the whole process. It's called Efficiently. Links for all that are in the description below. See you in the next video, and until next time, marry on.